Once upon a time, in a small, remote village nestled in the heart of the mountains, there lived a young girl named Emily. She was known throughout the village for her kind heart and her love for adventure. One day, while exploring the dense forest that surrounded the village, Emily stumbled upon an old, abandoned mansion. Despite the eerie feeling that seemed to emanate from the dilapidated building, she couldn't resist the urge to explore it further. As she ventured inside, she immediately noticed that the mansion was in a state of disrepair. Cobwebs and dust covered every surface, and the floors creaked beneath her feet. But as she made her way deeper into the mansion, she began to feel a strange presence. It was as if someone, or something, was watching her every move. Suddenly, she heard a faint whispering coming from the shadows. She froze, her heart racing with fear. She tried to tell herself that it was just her imagination, but she couldn't shake off the feeling of dread that had settled in her stomach. As she turned to leave, she saw a figure standing at the end of the hallway. It was a woman, dressed in a white gown, with long, flowing hair. She was staring directly at Emily with a cold, empty gaze. Emily's heart felt like it was about to burst out of her chest as she realized that she was face to face with a ghost. The ghost started to move towards Emily, who stumbled backwards and tried to run, but her legs felt like they were made of lead. She was trapped, and the ghost was getting closer and closer. In a last-ditch effort, Emily closed her eyes and screamed for help. To her surprise, the ghost stopped in its tracks and let out a blood-curdling scream. Emily opened her eyes to see the ghost disappearing into thin air. Shaken, but unharmed, Emily managed to make it out of the mansion and back to her village. She told her story to anyone who would listen, but no one believed her. They all thought she had just imagined it, or that she had been frightened by a wild animal. But Emily knew what she had seen, and she could never forget the ghostly woman who had stared at her with such a cold, empty gaze. From that day on, Emily avoided the forest and the abandoned mansion, but she never forgot her encounter with the ghost. Many years later, she passed away, but her story lived on. And the villagers would often tell it to each other around the fire at night, warning of the dangers of the abandoned mansion and the ghost that still roamed its halls. To this day, the village remains deserted as no one dared to live near the haunted mansion, and the ghost of the woman in white dress still said to be seen wandering around the abandoned mansion.